What's up, you fucking nerds? I'll start by saying, yeah, I know it's been a while since I've done a video. Like I said in the beginning, the YouTube channel is more for Fayetteville and the nerd scene in our area. Um, and if you live outside our area, well, that's, is what it is. If you find something you enjoy, anyways, we're here to talk about BJ's Book Exchange. So, we'll start by saying, look, as you can see in the video, I am driving in my dusty ass Honda. Um, Sorry about that. The Honda has a lot of dust on the dash because I never cleaned it off after pollen season. But the reason I started the video with me driving is because BJ's Book Exchange is in kind of an interesting location. Um, they are in the basement level of the old Roses in Eutaw Village. And the thing about that is there is no entrance from the front of Eutaw anymore. That entrance has been sealed off because Roses in the Eutaw Center has been closed for, well, a few decades. Um, but I know that they've been open for a few weeks now, and there's been a few customers that have had trouble finding the location. So I figured in the video I would start on the road in front of Eutaw, Bragg Boulevard, heading towards base, coming from downtown, and show you how to get to the location. Uh, yeah, from the road. That way, you know. So as you can see, if you just park in front of this white building after you pass the postal loading docks, you'll give me a second and it's gonna pan around as I take off my seatbelt and stuff. So, but if you get out of your car at this location, you'll see the big generator. See those big white you know uh steps with doors going up top? Well, it is under there, on the other side of this truck. So, as you can see, there's a set of gray doors right there with the name and address on it with a sign that says BJ's Book Exchange. Like I said, it's a very interesting location. If you didn't know it was here, you would completely miss it, which is why I did the drive around off of Bragg Boulevard. So, when you open the door, you're going to go down a long hallway. The owners eventually are going to decorate this hallway, possibly. Depends on what the guy who leases the location will let them do. But and it's, like I said, as you come down the hallway, you come into the bookstore. The areas off to the side of the hallway are what I understand are storage. So, like I said, it's a very large location compared to their old shop. So let's talk about BJ's Book Exchange, okay? So BJ's, if I remember correctly, opened in 1981. I've actually been shopping there since probably 83 or 84. My mom used to take me there, and I used to get comic books. I had a bit of a hiatus in the 90s and the early 2000s, and I started shopping there again somewhere around 2015, 2016. Um, Last year, BJ's Book Exchange ended up having a bout with the city. I'm not sure of all the details, but they did their best to try to meet building code, but the city kept coming back over and over and over again. And in my opinion, I feel like the city bullied them out of their old location. But honestly, that may have been for the best. Because this location is much, much larger. These are some of their sci-fi and horror novels here. Um, so this location is much bigger than their old location. Um, their old location, they'd been there since 81, and um, over the years, they had collected an absolute assload of books, and honestly, they didn't have enough room to put all the inventory out. Now, after they were closed for about a year. They, you know, they're, they rented out this location, and they've been selling books online on eBay and stuff, and they've intended to open this as a physical location, but it's a family-run business. Brother and sister run the store. Rudy and his sister, and their father was the original owner, father and mother. The father is elderly now. He does hang out at the shop, but most of everything is done by Rudy and his sister. I really feel like a douche because I really can't remember his sister's first name, and it makes me feel like a complete asshole because his sister, used to roll with a few friends of mine back in the day. Um, and in fact, one of my friends who's a fellow toy photographer, she used to hang out with him back in the day. But anyways, like I was saying, they like I said, they wanted to open their location, but being, just two people working on it, it was slow going because I mean that's a lot of books, it's a lot of weight. Um, and the truth of the matter is, from what I understand, they still don't have all of the inventory out. There is a large percentage of the inventory that still needs sorted and stocked because they only have so much, manpower. Um, so what they did is they decided to just go ahead and open up the physical location, and it's what they have out is good. They've got a great selection. Um, I really look forward to when they get more stuff out because it will really fill this location up. Um, which is good because in their old store they never had the room to put everything out. So they, they're great people and they've got a great selection. These are all sci-fi. I've started with the sci-fi books. Let me talk about the video for a second. There was a lot of people in my past videos and reviews of shops and stuff like that who have said that either I went too slow and it was boring, or I went too fast and they couldn't see what the inventory was. So I'm doing my best to do a little bit of both in this video because I'm trying to accommodate everybody, and I get it. I'm not going to make everybody happy, but at least this way people can see what the inventory is. Like I said, I started with the sci-fi books because one, those are near the front door, and two, that's probably my favorite section in the entire store. They've got a ton of really old like books, lots of stuff I've never seen before. The old shop always had stuff I'd never seen before, but the amount of stuff I've never seen before is way more now because it's they have more room. It's like their old sci-fi section, they were limited on space, and so these are all like I said, sci-fi. The other side of this wall right here was Star Trek and Star Wars. Pretty much anything that's a licensed movie or television product, sci-fi property. This is more of the, like I would say, regular books like you know Asimov, you know, Anne McCaffrey, things like that. This little rack right here has sci-fi on this side, but it's got some really great occult books on the other side. Has some really great occult and witchcraft, spell books, stuff like that. A lot of them going back to the 1960s. Some really crazy shit. These are some random carts they have around with inventory they're working out. And of course, more sci-fi. I'll get to the manga in about 2 or 3 minutes. It'll come up on this video, but um, like I was saying though, they rented out this location. They decided to open it, to the customers finally a few weeks ago. They had an article in the Fayetteville Observer, and which I didn't even know was still in print, honestly. And they have had a steady stream of customers. During this video, I'd like to note that there are customers in the store. I've intentionally tried to work my way around them because, you know, um, some people get weird about being on videos. So I've tried to work around as many of the customers as I can. Really, the only people I'm intending to edit out is there was a young lady and her husband in there with their kids. I will most likely, well, not most likely, I will be editing out the kids because, as a father myself, I know some people can be very, very, um, protective of their children and don't want them on internet videos. So, I am planning on editing them out. That's later in the video when they were in the store. So I will, you'll notice a few jumps in the footage then. Those jumps are because I edited the children out. This location, though, like I said, one, they have a great amount of room for books, but they've also got an area on the other side of the store where if you have like an anime club or something like that, you can have meetings, or I think they're going to let people, if they want to come in and play D&D or something like that, they can. Uh of course, you would have to double check with them and also probably make an appointment, I guess, or get on some kind of calendar or schedule because they don't want things overlapping because the space is limited. Probably only big enough for one or two groups of people to do something. The storage rooms off to the side, I know Rudy had mentioned that they at one point want to turn those into full-fledged gaming or meeting rooms. I don't know how that will work out. Like I said, they are very limited on manpower. um but you know there, if anybody, I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know if they would be down for this, but you know, if anybody wants to help out a local retailer, at least get the inventory out, because these guys, this is a family-run business. We're not talking Walmart. Of course, you can tell it's family-run business, but we're not talking like big box corporation. You know, this is a family-run business that is 100%. You know, I mean, every dime counts and they can't make money if inventory is not out. Um, if you're a book lover and you would love to see other inventory that they might have, maybe you can work something out with Rudy to come in and volunteer to get some books out. Um, Over on the other side of the store, they have this huge, huge sorting table that's like these little bins where you just, I noticed they had masking tape on it with like the different selections like romance and stuff like that. So I mean, they've got a system for sorting. It's just a matter of manpower and time. Um, so just throwing that out there. I mean, you never know. I don't want to speak on behalf of them when it comes to that, but they might appreciate the help, and if you're a book lover, I mean, it benefits you too because you might find a rare treasure in one of those boxes that you're missing in your collection. Um, these are the graphic novels and stuff right here. Um, Rudy is a big nerd like me. Him and his sister and I have very similar music tastes. We've gone to a lot of the same shows and didn't even realize we were at the same show with each other. For instance, Fu Manchu was what I got a month or two ago up at the Motor Co. up in Raleigh and no, Durham, and apparently we were both at that show. And I think he said he was also at the Sword Show a few months ago with Destroy Moon and Bob's Burger Patrol. I'm just messing around. That's the name of the band is all actually called Rickshaw Burger Patrol, but the whole show we couldn't help but call them Bob's Burger Patrol. Me and Ryan from Turbo Time. So, all right. So I'm backtracking. That stuff right there was the young adult, like uh, like fantasy and dark stuff like that. Like Divergent and stuff like that. But this is the manga section. For an independent used bookstore, they have a very good manga selection. Got a lot of old stuff. If you have holes in your collection, this might be a store worth checking out because I mean it 100% could fill some holes in that collection because, yeah, they get a lot. So, but God, you know, this is a 40 some minute video, so you're going to either have to listen to me talk a lot, or I might actually put on some music to play during part of the track, especially when I get to the romance and just, the regular fiction section. Um, I might put some music on just to let it, roll through there a little bit to burn a little bit of time so you don't have to hear me, you know, talking about random stuff. But great, like I said, what else can I say about BJ's that I haven't already said? Oh man, they've got a pretty decent selection of RPG books, which I will go to in a second. Um, he does get Warhammer Black Library books in on a regular basis, but they go quick. Between his regular customers and his eBay sales, they don't last long. I actually found a what is it? A Imperial Infantry. What is it? Imperial Infantry handbook, and it was yeah, it's a book that's kind of leather bound. That is designed to be like an actual like army field manual, but for the infantry of Warhammer that I bought there last week. The price. I mean, it's kind of a rare book. It was a little pricey, but the price was fair compared to online prices, which is why I went ahead and bought it. Plus, also, I'm helping out a local retailer because you know me, I'm all about that punk rock, and it's like, you know, it, corporations are really, drowning out the little guy lately, and I mean in every aspect of life. Especially the nerd scene. Now that they've figured out that nerd culture is big money, a lot of big box retailers are really starting to lean into that. So if you really want to find the good stuff, the rare stuff, you're going to have to go to an independent retailer like your local comic shop or your independent bookstore. This bookstore, like I said, they're a used bookstore. They are the last independently owned used bookstore in Fayetteville. Uh, the only other used bookstore we really have is Barnes and Noble, or no, not Barnes and Noble, Second and Charles. Sorry about that. And then we have Barnes and Noble, which is new books. I believe there's a little independently owned bookstore downtown Fayetteville, um, off of Hay Street, not too far down the road from the Cameo on the opposite side. But I'm not gonna lie, their selection is really small. And last time I was in there, they didn't even have like I think they only had like two sci-fi novels in the entire store. Um, the owner was really nice down there, but she basically told me they don't have a market for sci-fi or manga or comics, so she really doesn't buy it or carry it. And I get that. I mean, when she has limited space, uh, carrying inventory that's not going to sell because you don't have that customer base. I get that. So actually, I am, panning up here. He's got some rare hardcover, graphic novels there, and he keeps this stuff behind the counter. Stuff that's a little bit more pricey. I'm not sure if I panned up over top the register yet. I think I might have already, but over top the register, he's got a bunch of manga that a little bit more rare manga that he doesn't keep out on the shelf. Um, and then of course there was the Black Library stuff. I think I already panned over that. Yeah. So, I'm gonna walk back down to this end, and we're gonna turn the corner, And boom, more books. But now that side right there, if I remember correctly, was like your dark fantasy, dark romance, your smutty stuff with dragons and or vampires. I think that's what it was, if I remember correctly. Yeah, but smutty stuff with vampires. Um, which I'm not kink shaming because I like reading smutty stuff with vampires, but just saying. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, Anne Rice, VC Andrews, and I know he's got some independent smutty stuff with vampires, but it's I don't know. He doesn't have a lot of that. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm sure he gets plenty of it in. That stuff goes quick. That's a very popular genre right now. Those of you know that from time to time I help out a buddy of mine up in Virginia Beach, Gerald Hogan, who owns Trilogy Comics. Uh, you know, he carries a small selection of smutty stuff with vampires, and I'm not gonna lie, that stuff goes really quick. Um, I know at some conventions he brings Yowie with him, and I'm not even gonna get started on that. But anyways, so yeah, this is God, what is this? This is like your crime stuff, if I remember correctly, and like what's the guy who wrote Rainbow Six? God, that's I forget his name. That sucks. Yeah, I've noticed as I'm getting older, my memory is getting way worse. Like things that I could just snap my fingers and say have, now I have trouble remembering. It's really concerning. You know, and of course this, I think that down there was just some random stuff that was on a shelf, and then of course I think this is gosh, yeah, this is I think that was the end of the crime, and this is the beginning of like the romance, maybe. I don't know. I hate to sound their old store on Muchison Road back in the day. Their old store, there was labels at the end of the aisle, and they have not put up labels on all the aisles yet. And yeah, I mean, hopefully those will go up soon. It would really help in a video like this. This is like crime. Um, this is yeah, this is like your hey, I want to read a book about a serial killer. Um, yeah, but as you can see, we are God, how many minutes are we in? We are 23 minutes in, and I haven't even made it through half the store yet. Like I said, they've got a lot of inventory. And I'm scanning the shelves because honestly, there's a few people, friends mostly, that I have told that BJ's is open, and they were like, "Well, what's the inventory like?" And I'm like, "What are you looking for?" And they're like, "Take a video or take pictures." So I figured I would, go at a steady pace and scan the shelves, and that way you can pause it and see what's on the shelf if this is a section that you want to look through. I've got a few friends who are book nerds into sci-fi and fantasy and stuff that 100% live out of town, that come to Fayetteville a few times a year, and 100% would hit this place up and just fill a box. Um, the that was like I think this is young adult, like I guess you like would say like Goosebumps and stuff, I think. And then behind me, oh, there's one of their old banners that they had from a few years ago. And I think Rudy had that banner made for one of the Fayetteville Comic Cons to hang in his booth. Um, again, these are more young adult, I think. Young adult, like horror and fantasy, or these hardback horror. Oh, like I said, it's like so much inventory, and I was trying to keep track of everything in my head as I was walking around, but I failed miserably. So yeah, I don't think this is young adult horror. I think this is just like horror and suspense novels. And of course, I'm going to go back over here and finish this up. When I did that circle over there in the corner, that was all kids' books. And we're going to get there in a second. But if you're a teacher or, you know, uh, run or work at a daycare, they've got a really large selection of kids' books and educational books that might be worth taking a look at. Uh, I did pan and scan the spines of those. It was a lot quicker though because those spines on a lot of those kids' books are so thin that they're hard to read. Um, I mean, they would be hard to read on a video, let me say. So um, I think this is like suspense novels and stuff again. Yeah, because I think actually, that hardcover thing, I'm pretty positive that was horror and suspense because it makes sense to have this section across from it where the soft covers are. And, and of course, there's more back here. But yeah, so I am going to take a 2 or 3 minute break and going to just let some music play. Before I go, this video I'm going to post right away after it's done, just so it can get out there and people can see what BJ's has to offer, as well as help promote the store. Um, and then what I'm going to do, hopefully in a week or two, and the reason it's gonna be a week or two is because I'm going out of town next week, um, for a day or so, and when I get back, I'm going to try to put in timestamps. That way people can, basically, they can check out what's the store has without having to watch the whole video. And when I do make a video with timestamps, I will post that video in the comments. I'll post the timestamps, but this particular video will not have timestamps because, like I said, I am going to be out of town, and the next day or two is I got to do laundry, and I have to do a whole bunch of just random stuff around the house before I take my short trip, and I also have to. Me and the wife are adopting a stray from outside, and we've got to take him to the stray vet today and have him get his shots and stuff. And then after that, we are bringing him in the house and going to give him a good bath and put some flea medicine on him. And then we're gonna have to put him back outside for a short time because we he's not fixed yet, and we do not want to have a cat that is not fixed yet because he is a boy cat and they will spray if you know anything about cats, and that is not something that would make me happy. So we've got him a little house outside and we feed him on a daily basis. And like I said, this week is getting the shots done. That's going to cost us $100 and some. And then when I return home next paycheck, we are going to get him fixed, which will be another $100 or some. And I do not think that will make Gretel very happy. Bringing a new cat inside. Anyways, back to the video real quick. The other side that I just showed was all the kids' books and stuff. These are educational books like, I don't know, educational books like textbooks on psychology and, science books and stuff like that. I said I was going to pause it, but I'm not getting there too good, am I? I'm just kept talking about what we're hitting. Again, like I said, educational books. I think behind me when I turn around is language books, if I remember correctly. It might be one aisle over, but I know that language books are coming up quickly. As in, like, if you want to learn Japanese or Chinese or French or, you know. So I think that's what these were. Uh, Hard to tell. It's so if you know anything about Adobe Premiere, as I'm editing this, there is a little teeny screen that I'm watching this on. I know that I can expand the screen before anybody says anything, but the way I have my settings, I don't want to do that because I have literally played with things before and messed up my settings and taken a whole day to try to get them back to the way I need them. And if you know anything about Adobe and you're not uh, trained to use Adobe at school and learning it, you know, like I did, like just learning it by playing with it, it's a task in itself. Adobe is one of those programs that when you use logic to try to determine how it works, you're like, why isn't this doing this? It should do this. And and I mean, maybe to somebody who is a professional video editor, some of the functions make sense, but to me, sometimes I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, it should have worked this way. So this section right here, this is the young adult section, as in this is like. So I guess the other stuff was more like young adult, like preteen. This would be, which I guess would still be. I guess it really wouldn't be preteen. I mean, young adult, would it? But but this is like the young adult stuff. This is the stuff that if like you're 15 or 16, that you would want to be reading. Stuff like Perks of Being a Wallflower, which happens to be one of my wife's favorite books. Stuff like Stephanie Meyer's Twilight stuff. Oh, I can't believe I just said that on a video. Like I loathe that series, but yeah. So like I said, it's yeah. Oh yeah, listen to me babble on. I'm sorry, guys. Some of you I bet would really wish to hear something else other than me. Yep, Survive the Night. That is a book that caught my eye. Okay, back here, this section back here is Western. If you're into cowboys and Indians, these are all Western books. Now, the Western section keeps going. I Once I get past this aisle and I come around the other side, I will show you that it goes on again. Oh shit! I think I fucked it up again when I was telling what was what. This is the language books. Um, Again, like I said, I'm looking on the little screen right here. Uh, I think this is like books on what like social stuff like books on like the punk scene in the 1980s, or if you're into like an artist movement in the 1960s or something like that. I think that's a section that would be in. um and then of course this right here was I hate to say it, I'm not sure. I think this is where like the American history stuff starts, maybe. No. Little screen. Um, because I know there is an American history section that we're going to get to in a few minutes, and it had some really cool books on like the U.S. military stuff like that. That's another cool thing. Like this shop has a bunch of old school military manuals. Uh, I think the most recent one was 2017, but it had some going way back. Like if you want to know how, like if you wanted an infantry training manual from back in the day, and we're talking like the real military shit, as in like it's not even a book with a spine, it's bound together with giant friggin' staples. Um, yeah, they have those. Think this was the history section. Um, this is. I think I just stopped to talk to one of the customers here because, like I said, yep. Like I was saying, No, this was in the history section. What was in this section when I was talking to her? Oh, I don't remember. Um, I want to say maybe physics books or something. I don't remember. Uh, like I said, it's um, but the back part of the store is, I guess you would say, nonfiction. The back part of the store, except for that corner where the kids' books are and the young adult, everything else in the back of the store, well, not everything else, but this whole section where the aisle bookshelves are nonfiction stuff. This back wall, though, is where the Western stuff is. Like I said, we're going to go over that in a few minutes. Because I think I got one or two buddies that might be interested in some Western books. Um, Pardon me, I'm sitting here eating some toast. Um, but uh, but yeah, this is all nonfiction stuff. And then back here, these are all Western paperbacks. You know, um, yeah, that's a lot of cowboys and Indians, man. Um, you know, and then of course, it comes around here and keeps going. Um, Now we are about to come to a romance section in a second when I go down one of the aisles. When I say romance, I'm talking like stuff that your grandma and your you know 60-year-old mom read. Um, like what was her name? Danielle Steele. I'm trying to remember the authors my mom used to read, the books I used to see around the house. Those type of romance. We're not there yet though, but um, if grandma is into some old school romance books and wants to, relive her youth, they got plenty of that here for her. So, um, again, this is, yeah, I think this was the American history stuff. Yeah, there it is. There, because I just saw that one big black book at the top said Army on it. So yeah, this is like military history, I should say, less American history, but a military history and military related books. Like if you're looking for, like I guess if you're looking for a book that was written by a dude who was in Vietnam, who's telling you the story of his platoon, it would be in this section, I assume. Um, but you know, and again, there's that. I'm about to come to the little nook in a second that had. Okay, so this little section, was it here? No, it was right on the other side of this. It's like I said, we're gonna come to a section in a second that has like, military manuals and stuff. And like I said, I think this is all the like military novels, like I said, by authors who are telling you their experiences in wartime theater. These are, oh, I forget what these are. No, are these the crafting books? I want to say these are the crafting books here. And then, of course, down here at the bottom, like, check this out, Ryan at Turbo Time. Old Chilton's manuals. Like, holy shit. Like, for those of you who don't know, especially mechanics who might not know, a Chilton's manual is what you used to use to repair a car if you didn't already have experience doing it. A Chilton's manual, I had one for every car I owned up until like 1999, and then you were able to start finding stuff online. Okay, I think this is the thing. Yeah, I think it is. So, um, on the back side of that, oh, there's the pinball machine. On the back side of this thing, right? Is it right here? Is this it? Yes, I think this is it. Okay. Um, okay, so on the back side of this little cube thing, there are military training manuals. There we go. Like, check those out, dude. Yeah, like, do you want to know how the infantry trained in 2017 as compared to our special operations manual? It's like, yeah, dude, like they have them. Or if you want to sell them, they will most likely buy them. Um, that's something else I really haven't talked about. So they do take book donations, and they also buy books that are in demand or that they can sell naturally. They will give you store credit. I'm not sure about cash, so I'm not going to quote on that. I know you can get store credit because that's what I've always got when I sold books. Um, but they do buy some books as well. Books they don't buy, if you're looking to get rid of them, they do take them as donations, which is one of the reasons they have the inventory they have. And it takes so long to go through it because between the donations and what they buy. Now, if you're going to sell books, one thing I do know is if it's a book that you bought there. So see those little green price tags on everything? If you sell back a book that you bought, they will give you a better store credit price than they would if you bought the book somewhere else. Because they're like it's almost like a store I'm looking. It's almost like you'd be renting the book. You and you'd be paying a rental fee rather than a purchase fee by returning the book and getting store credit for it. I guess that's a good way to describe it. But yeah, you any books that you buy here after you read them, if you're the type that likes to sell them back so you can I don't sell a lot of my books back because I collect books. But every once in a while, I'm not going to lie, there's a toy that I want for my toy photography or for my collection. And I will 100% put together, a box of books or sell some toys online and stuff, crafting books and stuff right there. But yeah, I'll put some stuff together and sell it because I, need the fundage to buy another toy. But for the most part, I keep my books. But if you are the type to sell books, you know, to after you're done reading, recycle them so somebody else can read them. As long as you leave that price tag on there, you will get a better buyback price than you would if it didn't have that price tag on there. Um, so yeah, what was this? There was some reason I wanted to take a picture of this stack. I forget what it was. Uh, Anyways, like I said, tiny screen, can't read it right now. Sometimes I wish that I had. Sometimes I wish that I wasn't so paranoid to expand the screen on this and could see better. That way, I could give you more of a accurate. Oh, this is all dictionaries and thesauruses. It's a lot of dictionaries and thesauruses. But you know what? Um, there are old dictionaries and thesauruses are still kind of fun because there's words that aren't in, like if you go to a bookstore and buy a new thesaurus or dictionary, there's some words that aren't in them because, well, I mean, those words are no longer used in our society. Oh, this is the book rack I was telling you about that they use for sorting. Like I said, if it's got like little labels on it, and as they as they're sorting books to put on the shelf, they literally like just put the sci-fi in one spot and the fantasy in another spot, and then take them to the section where they need to go. In fact, I think they don't even have to take them out of the thing because that thing has wheels and they can just roll around the store and stock. But you can't do that with people in the store. And like I said, again, see what I was talking about? They got plenty of space. They still got all this space back there. They've still got more of these milk crate bookshelves that they make piled up in the corner. Like I said, they've got the room for the books. They just don't have enough manpower to get them all out and sorted. Again, this is the Blu-rays and DVDs. That's right, people. They buy and sell movies. They had a small selection of anime that they keep up near the front, but I'll be straightforward. The anime goes really quick at this store. As does a lot of the manga. I mean, their manga gets, you know, has a good circulation of, in and out. But yeah, these are all DVDs right here. All, and according to Rudy, he actually has a bin or two full of anime DVDs and Blu-rays that he hasn't been able to get to yet. So, like I said, they do carry anime. You just have to wait for it because, like I said, time, manpower. All right, so here's comic book dollar boxes. That's right. Um, they have comic book dollar boxes. If you're looking for some, these honestly, a lot of these books that are in these boxes are probably the same books that I went through when I was a kid. Board games back there on that shelf. Like there's John Constantine comic book. That is John Constantine is one of my favorite comic characters of all time. Video games, uh, you know, like I said, they've got a pretty decent selection of just about everything when it comes to media. Um, they don't have a lot of toys. That would probably be my one complaint, but I get it. I mean, they're not a toy store; they're a bookstore. Plus, but that might change one day. I mean, they have a few toys. They have a few Dragon Ball figures, and stuff up front, but that's about it. I think most of the toys they own were brought in by customers who were selling books. And of course, we are going to get around here to the Bibles in a second. Um, you know, while I am not Christian, I am, you know, 100% pagan, but to each their own. I don't hold any animosity, towards Christians. There are some people that do, but I do not. In fact, one of the a very good friend of mine is a Southern Baptist minister. Um, but I will say, just like pagans, there's good Christians and there's bad Christians. Just like there's good Jewish people and bad Jewish people, and good Palestinians and bad Palestinians. I mean, in every religion, you have the good and the bad. And, it's like I said, even though I'm not Christian, there's a lot of Christians that might find this Christian book section appealing. Has a lot of old Bibles. Like I said, my friend, I know that he doesn't come to Fayetteville too often, but if he does, he actually might be interested in browsing this section. And then this was on the back side of the Bibles. I forget what that was. It's not Christian books though, but it's like I forget what it was. Somebody can zoom in and tell me later. Of course, there's gonna have to edit that part out. There's a person's kid, and of course, you got these books right here. These are all like, yeah, like, I think these are like foreign like books. They're like I mean, Les Miserables is a play. Maybe it's plays. That's what that is. That's I think that was all like screenplays and stuff. So that little edge out. That was the area they have for if you want to play D&D or have a meeting or something, they have that little area over there. Um and then of course, that's pretty much the whole store. I'm going to just walk back around here and you know, take the camera and look at a few things. Um, oh yeah, okay. Over here on the table, they got some crafting stuff that some people have made. Got stickers, bookmarks, and then of course on that corner of the table, or was this? Yeah, on that back corner of the table, you missed it. There was a Dragon Ball figure and a Hallmark Han Solo figure. This was the occult books that I was talking about earlier. All the witchcraft books and stuff, and then of course this is more sci-fi and horror, and of course these books on the wall right here. These are ones that honestly are a little bit more rare, and I think this is where I end the video and just basically yeah. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is BJ's Book Exchange. off of Bragg Boulevard in Eutaw Village. Like I said, you got to go around the back side of the shopping center. You're going to pass the big white building and pull in. Now, keep in mind, there's two entrances to Eutaw. The one to get to this, you're going to pull around the back side, on the side where Hayes Hobby House is and the driver's license agency and stuff, not the other side. And then, of course, you're going to pull around and park near the white building and then walk into the two gray doors under the white metal stairways going up into the upper part of the shopping center. Um, I will post the address at the end of this video as well. And I think that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. And go see, go visit BJ's Book Exchange. It's a great used bookstore, guys. And like I said, you're not supporting a big box corporation. You're supporting a mom and pop business that's been in business in Fayetteville for, God, 81. What is that? 40 some years. So, um, help them stay alive. You know, help them put the word out there. Let people know about them. I think that's about it. All right, guys. Later.